Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you probably by now know, Ring of Honor once again did another TV special Tuesday episode on YouTube to see more matches you guys haven't seen because, as you know, Ring of Honor are on the road to Death Before Dishonor. So a lot of things are going to be taking place, even some preliminary matches involving that. So can't wait to review all of it for you guys. But however, on NXT, as you saw what happened last week, we saw the arrival of Zilla Fatu, who attacked both Cruz Montana and Grayson Waller. But of course, as you probably can guess, he is aiming for the NXT Championship. So what does this mean for NXT? Well, I'm sure our champion Tony D'Angelo probably is not afraid of this, but of course he has to contend with another person who wants his throne. But what about the others, like Montana or Waller? Well, we just have to wait and see about that. But we do have, of course, the men's speed title on the line and various other matches involving. So can't wait to review all of that for all of you. And then, of course, as always, we wrap up our episode, as usual, with some news updates, giving you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready with another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We even, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We even, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We even, of course, do some real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We've been, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers. Let's get started. So, let's begin with Ring of Honor with a TV special Tuesday episode. Okay, Ring of Honor TV. This is a TV special Tuesday episode that you guys can watch for free on YouTube if you guys haven't seen it yet. Now, we opened up with Commander versus Arya Daivari. Now, of course, in the past, we have seen Commander was at war with the premier athlete, more specifically that weasel, Mark Sterling, who had his issues towards luchadores. But, of course, we know that when it comes to Arya Daivari, wherever he goes, Mark Sterling's going to be there. So would, of course, Tony Nese. But that failed miserably until, of course, Commander applied his usual move, the running rope springboard 450 splash, shooting star press, my bad, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, boom, it was over. Our next match, this is part of the primary match that would take place at Death Before Dishonor. Action Andretti teams up with the Cole Handsome Devil Hook to take on Arya Fox, the former ROH World Television Champion, teaming up with the current ROH World Television Champion. It's fine. It's fine. Yep, Lio Rush. So you can guess that this is a preliminary match before Death Before Dishonor, because as you know, Action Andretti is pissed off at the fact that he felt that Lio Rush had no business whatsoever to get himself involved in this match, in the title reign. But however, that's the idea what he wants. He wants to take that title away from him, one way or the other. Now, the match would have been won by Lio Rush, but if it wasn't for Hook for grabbing his championship, which he dubs Shadow, of course, by Lio Rush, used that as a weapon to take him out, and just like that, it was disqualified. But of course, you can tell that Action Andretti is determined to tell Lio Rush, that belt is coming with me, and there's no man in this is going to stop me. So that's exactly what he's going to do when we get to Death Before Dishonor. Now, the Outrunners and Dalton Castle, as you can guess, well, as you know, that they will be getting challengers for their title reign as the current World Six-Man Tag Team Champions. So we are expecting to see how things will roll from them. Now, our next match is a six-man tag team match. We have guys like Tommy Two Scoop, Dave Cole, and Manny Lemons taking on the members of Skyflight. This time consists of Scorpio Sky and, of course, Dante and Darius Martin, together known as Top Flight. Well, you can know that it doesn't matter what the combination is. If it's either Scorpio Sky and Matt Sydal, or Matt Sydal with Top Flight, or Scorpio Sky, or all of them. They are a very talented team, and I think they were making a name for themselves. But however, it was Scorpio Sky who put away Scoops with the TKO, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, boom, it was over. Now, if you guys saw what happened in AEW Collision, Nigel McGuinness got injured during the collision at the collision for the Continental Cup, and apparently he may not be able to compete at Death Before Dishonor. So he's going to focus mostly on the Continental Cup. So basically that's what he wants to do. And I have to say, I don't know if it's the smart move. We don't know how severe his injury has become. It's nothing too serious, but he's being told him to take the tone down just a bit. So we'll see where that leads. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Anthony Ogogo representing Shane Taylor Promotions taking on Aaron Solo. I have to say, this is a much longer fight than we've seen Anthony Ogogo in. He's the kind of guy we have seen in the past where he just knocks out his opponent with one punch, and that's it. It was over. And Aaron Solo took up the fight really, really well. But Anthony Ogogo, once again, took him out with one punch, and just like that, the referee called it. Anthony Ogogo picked up the win. Next up, we have women's tag team. We have Marty Bell and Allison Kay, together known as the Hex, but they're not using that name in Ring of Honor. I'm not sure why, but I can guess. They're facing, of course, the very interesting combination of Mina Shirakawa and, of course, as Caprice Coleman would say, she's your queen to be. Yep, that's right, Queen Aminata. And we have seen Queen Aminata and Mina in recent times how much they team up. And I think they're a team we could definitely see that could chase for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions. But all they need to do right now is rack up some wins. And that's exactly what they were doing on this particular match. But it was Mina who picked up the win when she put Marty Bell in the figure 4 leg lock. And just like that, she tapped out. Mina and Queen Aminata picked up the win. Our next match, we have, of course, Adam Priest taking on ELP, of course, El Phantasmo. And I thought it was a pretty good match. I mean, we have seen El Phantasmo in recent times appearing. Now, I think some people have made question, is he leaving New Japan? I don't know. We haven't heard anything about that part yet. We know that he wasn't involved in the G1, but he faces against Adam Priest. But Adam Priest picked up a win, which people would say it's an upset. I mean, don't forget, El Phantasmo used to be the former New Japan World Television Champion, and he put him away with a single leg crab hold, and just like that, El Phantasmo tapped out. Now, our main event, we have Sky Blue and Marina Shafir taking on Zeta Steel and Red Velvet. Now, we have seen these two ladies team up recently. I don't know if you can consider Red Velvet as a member of Skyflight, but I would say, why not? I mean, if I was Christopher Daniels, I rank up everybody to be involved, and that's something I would say. Put everybody involved to get how many titles you want. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's in Ring of Honor or AEW. But they were pretty good. Now, don't forget, we know this Sky Blue as a member of of Triangle of Madness would definitely try to do something, but it did not fail. Marina Shafir, we know how dangerous she is in the ring. I mean, she's a former MMA fighter, but in the end, it was Steels that put away Sky Blue, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, boom, Steels and Red Velvet picked up the win. So I thought it was a pretty good show. I enjoyed it. Can't wait to see what else they're gonna do. Can't wait to see what's gonna happen on Thursday. But for right now, we're done with this one. Let's move on with NXT, which is our last review. Okay, NXT. So, as you know, NXT are still shaken up with the sudden unexpected arrival of Zilla Fatu. Now, to recap, for those who may have missed it, what happened a week ago, Zilla Fatu, of course, who is a member of the Anoy family and related to Umaga, attacked both Grayson Waller and Cruz Montana during a #1 contendership for the NXT Championship. However, as soon as Zilla Fatu made a destruction of what he did, well, obviously it was no secret that he probably was aiming for the NXT Championship. But the real question I think many of us are wondering, what does the competitors themselves would think? I mean, I'm sure Cruz Montana had something to say, so is Grayson Waller and Tony D'Angelo. So that you can set guess, and that's where we begin our entire programming, where Cruz Montana, as you know, well, he felt like he had this match won, but of course Zilla Fatu. So you probably can guess that this is not over for what Cruz Montana wants. He is still aiming for the NXT Championship, but he still needs to get his hands on Zilla Fatu for what he did. But however, of course, Ray Phoenix, who is someone from his past, for those who are living in the WWE bubble who don't know, Cruz Montana and Ray Phoenix, well, have been both gone into war before in tag team actions. If you guys remember, Cruz Montana was part of LAX back in TNA, and Ray Phoenix, along with his brother Penta, the Lucha Brothers, they fought back and forth with each other too many times. So you can guess how that turned out. But of course, Ray Phoenix is there to see who's going to be his #1 contender for the AAA World Cruiserweight Championship. That's where we lead to that fatal four-way match. We have EK Prosper, who's been very impressive in his matches. He takes on Tristan Angels, who believes that he is the essence of what a real champion should look like. And of course, we have Romeo Moreno and La Parca. So basically, you can guess how this match was going to be. I mean, yes, if there's two other extras that could try to stop a submission or a pinfall from ever taking place, and that's always been the most difficult part. But in the end, it was EK Prosper with a moonsault onto Romeo. Just like that, 1, 2, 3, he gets a shot of the AAA Cruiserweight Championship. Now, in the back, we did see Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray, better known as the Ren QCC, of course, getting ready to do their thing, of course. Kendall Gray, of course, well, Ren Sinclair is preparing for her Speed title match, of course. No, not that one. Never mind, I don't know what they're doing. But of course, they were interrupted by the Vanity Project, and they act like they think that the girls need help, whatever, all that, but they just feel like, oh, they don't have the muscle. They actually look like, they looked at Micah Lockwood, who is the one with the muscles, saying she's the real Vanity, while you three are the Project. So that sets it up right there. So you probably can guess how that's going to turn out. Now, our next match, we have Thea Hale taking on Natty. Now, of course, Natty, as you know, she is probably still pissed off over what happened 2 weeks ago. If you guys haven't forgotten, Thea Hale tossed a towel that forced, of course, for her to surrender. Well, she didn't ask for it, but it happened. Because, of course, Natty is trying to act like she thinks she's far more superior than everyone else. I mean, from Thea Hale and Jada Parker, and you can guess how that's going to be. But, however, Natty was able to teach her a lesson by putting her in the sharpshooter, and just like that, it was over. But, however, Natty wasn't done yet. She was willing to make Jada Parker watch as she destroys Thea Hale for what she did and that sort of thing. But you can probably tell this is far from over from Jada Parker and Natty, one way or the other. Now our next match, we have of course the WWE Speed Championship. Lucian Price will be making his rare appearance as a singles wrestler. Normally we see him with Bronco Lima as part of OTM. Faces against a member of the Birthright, Lexus King, our current Speed Champion. And of course, Lucian asked to be on his own, but he did not. I don't know if he thought he was smart enough or strong enough to deal with Birth. I mean, we did see distractions coming from all levels, but however, we did see Lexus King try to make the time right, because remember, if it's a championship match, it lasts 5 minutes. Non-championship matches, 3 minutes. But however, Lexus King tried to get away with it, but once again, distractions from the outside played pretty part until Lexus King applied the coronation onto him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. However, of course, during the post-match, Birthright wanted to teach him a lesson by giving him a beatdown, but thank God for Bronco Lima, he decided to save the day. So obviously, we may see OTM, hopefully, to give him the opportunity to finally pursue for the NXT Tag Team belts. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, now, as I mentioned before, Grayson Waller, I'm sure he is pissed off out of his mind for how things turned out. I mean, as you all remember, he showed up out of the blue saying that the men's division in NXT has gone soft. Obviously, it may have, but there's still some strong competitors. And I'm sure, and of course, Tony D'Angelo showed up, had some things to say. So did Cruz Montana, but Mr. Stone, of course, said that there's going to be a 3-way match coming up at Heatwave, where Tony D'Angelo will defend his belt not only against one competitor, but two, Grayson Waller and Cruz Montana. But however, of course, he did say that he was going to have some business to discuss with Zilla Fatu. So that pretty much it right there. Now, Lizzie Rain was having a nice conversation with Shala Hill over what happened a week ago. Of course, if you guys remember, Lizzie Rain was supposed to team up with Shawn Spears, but he was nowhere to be found. But she was thankful for EK Prosper for stepping up and all that. But of course, Lizzie said that she was not feeling the vibe after Callie Armstrong interrupted her interview. But however, Miles Bourne showed up to give, of course, Shala Hill the good news, saying that he talked to Stone, saying that I'll give you a title shot if you beat Jackson Drake for it. And of course, Shala Hill was so thankful that he was going to get this opportunity. And Lizzie Rain, of course, was very happy for him, knowing that this is an opportunity that may or may not come again whenever it does. Now, our next match is Ren QCC taking on Callie Armstrong and Kalani Jordan. Now, of course, obviously, for many of us know, sharks have been in the water since then with Kendall Gray now being the current NXT champion. They were coming left and right, and amongst them is Kalani Jordan, who has challenged for this belt, but however came up short. Callie Armstrong, who felt like, who of course has some history with Kendall Gray. Well, you probably can guess what she wants. But however, Callie Armstrong was able to defeat Ren Sinclair by applying the Cali connection, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, boom, it was done. Now, Kiana Carver was in fact in the office of Mr. Stone. Some of you may be wondering, what the hell is he doing? Well, it turns out that he is asking for some opportunities. Some of you may ask, what kind of opportunities? Well, you can guess, championships or whatever. But I'm sure Mr. Stone is going to figure that one out for himself to deal with them. Now, we did see a bit of a video one-on-one thing between both Dion Lennox and Saquon Sugars. As you all know, Saquon was kicked out of the of Dark State not too long ago due to being the weak link and that sort of thing. So you can tell this is far from over between these two men. So it's going to be a slobber knocker. Now, our next match is a #1 contendership for the NXT North American title. Shala Hill takes it on Jackson Drake. Now, of course, Shala Hill was on his own on this one, and of course, Vanity Project, more specifically Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes, were going to help out. But however, they got their hand caught in the cookie jar. So the referee told them, along with Lockwood, take a hike and leave out of there. Now, you would have assumed things would have gone to normal, but out of nowhere, you were like, what the F? Naruku showed up. I don't know what is Naruku's real tension. I mean, it still makes no sense. Why would he go after Hill? I mean, I would have assumed that he would go back to the drawing board and find a way to obtain the NXT Championship. I don't know what he's planning to do, but we'll see. But however, Charlotte Hill lost big time when he got missed by Naruku, but it was Jackson Drake with the 450, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, boom, he'll get a title shot. Now, at Mr. Stone's office, of course, we did see Zarya and Callie Armstrong, so you probably can guess. Well, Zarya's looking for some competition, and Callie Armstrong has to be by, so you probably can guess that too well. But I would love to see that. Now, it doesn't end there. Mr. Stone was in the ring and, of course, informed the entire NXT universe that Zilla Fatu is now officially part of the NXT roster. And of course, Tony D'Angelo, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo, of course, and Cruz Montana. Well, as you know, they want to get their hands on him. But however, it was later foretold that in NXT at Heatwave, the NXT Championship will be defended in a fatal 4-way. So that means Tony D'Angelo will face both Cruz Montana, Grayson Waller, and of course now Zilla Fatu. So that's going to be a crazy matchup. So I can't wait to see it. So let's see how much Tony D'Angelo can endure this. But so right now we're done. Let's move on to our last and final thing: news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin, of course, with upcoming events, starting with GCW. We have, of course, Mind Your Business, which is their Denver show on the 11th of September. They announced Atticus Cogar versus Anakin Murphy. Now, they did not mention whether he will be defending the title, but I'm going to presume that if he loses it, it probably will be in that way. I'm not sure, but we'll see. No Signal in the Hills, of course, the following day on September 12th. In LA, the GCW Ultraviolet Championship will be defended. Atticus Cogar, Otis Cogar, Atticus' brother, will defend against Viperous. Now we do have the Jersey Championship Wrestling, or JCW, breakdown. It'll happen on the 6th of September. 2 matches have been announced. The first one is a tag match, Control Chaos versus Junie Underwood and Flying Ryan. And then of course after that, we have Alec Price versus Dustin Waller. And then finally, of course, as you know, we have West Coast Pro with the West Coast 8, which is their anniversary show. They'll take place on the 13th of November. Jay just announced a tag team from Japan, Spark Rush, consistent of Marvelous Takumi Iroha, and of course the Sun Goddess, of course, Sari. So that's going to be a very fun match. Now, moving on to our upcoming events, we want to give congratulations to Jay White and his wife. They just announced that they're expecting their first child, so congratulations, guys. Now, many of you may know this person, Marie Malenko, or Lacey Simons, who is the fact daughter of Dean Malenko. Well, it's just foretold, and then since she signed with WWE, she goes by the name Kenzie. So that's her new in-ring name that she'll be going to. I'm not sure if there's going to be another name, like a last name added or something. I'm not sure. Stephen Borden, many of you know him as the son of Sting. As you know, he's been training as a wrestler. He's been appearing in Ring of Honor and some independent shows. There's been reports about saying that it's believed that he is signed with AEW. You got to remember, his father ended his career in AEW back in 2025, if I'm not mistaken. But it's something that's been mentioned, so we'll see what happens from there. Now, many of you know this, the Malakai Black, as you know, who was released from the company a few months back. Well, Fightful Select reports that for a number of months he's been in talks with MLW. Now, to be honest with you, I don't have a problem with this. I know that recently that there's certain AEW talent that did not want him there because, well, he was not in it, you know. I mean, we gave him AEW gave him the opportunity to reinvent himself, but he was hoping to return to WWE, which is what he wanted, but this is what he gets. I mean, he screwed himself over this. But now that MLW is looking to sign him, I don't think there's any problem right there anyway. Now, moving on to more. This is a very surprising thing. Many of you know Lance Anoa'i, who is in fact a member of the Anoa'i family related to Roman Reigns, Zilla Fatu, the Usos, and all that. Well, he went onto his Instagram and announced that he is retiring in March of 2027. And this is what he said. For so many years, wrestling has taken up my weekends, my time, and the countless moments away from people I love the most. I reached to a point where I want to dedicate my time to my wife and my kids and be there for those moments no matter what. So yeah, he's doing this because he wants to be more close to his family, and I get it. You know, it's a lot of sacrifice, and I get that many people of that. Now, many of you remember that there was that situation with, of course, AJ Styles' son Avery and all that. Well, apparently, you know, that was going on. He had this to say, and this is what he was talking about. The promoter that was talking, at least he thought he was a promoter, but was not the promoter of the show that my son was at. He was there to set up the ring. He got paid to do this with his crew. Avery never heard anybody say anything about this. And in fact, the guy that he was working with was Marcus Mathers, was like, yeah, no, we never heard anything all that we had to work in our match. We with that being said, take it what it was. Whatever you want to do with it. I never helped anybody. They never asked me when I was paid to do a show for them to help them set up. And furthermore, definitely the ring crew guy hasn't said anything to me, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. If you are on the fence or whether or not like Avery, and you see him in a show, go up and talk to him, then decide for yourself. I have raised my kids to be polite and thankful and appreciative, and I can promise you this: nobody's been harder on their kids than me. I don't play around. I don't have sympathy for them, especially when it comes to wrestling. They're not getting that from me, but I will protect their integrity, and I think he is a pretty good kid. At least that's what I'm hearing from anybody and everyone who has ever met him face to face. It shouldn't have blown up like this. Should have been two guys talking to each other, or like other adults. But after the third time on the line, I was like, wait a minute. This guy's trying to make this kid look bad. Let me say something. Maybe it wasn't the best, but maybe should have shut up, and probably should have, and I didn't need to bring it up. But I couldn't help it. I'm a dad. I'm going to defend my son when someone else is wrong. And believe you and me, I checked on this first before I said anything. So yes, so this is, I'd have to say, AJ does have fair point. If this guy, Eric Cannon, not going to disrespect him. I get that he's a promoter, but it's not his promotion that was working. He was paid to set up the ring and the chairs. He was working for GCW. That was a separate matter. Avery was booked by GCW for the match there. So basically, he is right about one thing. He could have approached them and asked them, "Hey, you want to help us out, or can you help us out?" But he didn't do that. So this guy goes out online to disrespect his son. Now, from what people were saying, this is rare for AJ to do something like this, but I get it. He's a father. He wants to protect the integrity of his son, like saying, no, his son isn't a mean person. He's not like the kind of guy who flaunts his reputation around, like saying, yeah, I'm AJ Styles' son. I believe AJ Styles because many kids were raised to be polite, be respectful, and all that, and I think that was the case. So AJ knows his son's character, and if Eric Cannon was trying to judge him on that, well, he brought this mess to himself. So I'm not gonna, shed tears on that, and AJ was right. He could have just shut up about this and not spilled it on the internet, but he brought this to himself. Now, an interesting thing that had taken place on social media, someone went out to talk about Zeta Steel saying this. Zeta Steel was more on TV joining AEW. I swear she could have been much better in WWE. And Zeta Steel saw this, and this is what she responded. Never appeared on TV before AEW. Okay. To the moron who went out to say this, let's be one clear. Zeta Steel was never on TV. She was on Tubi, which is something you can look online and for free. She was never on national television. And that was the thing. So this guy is saying she was better off in WWE because she was on TV. No. Tubi is not a televised show. It's basically you watch it on a streaming service. And this guy had to go out and say something like this. And Zeta Steel was right. She never was on TV. We never seen her on NXT. That was the problem. But he's an idiot. And I'm glad that Zeta Steel put the record straight. And I have to say, I support Zeta Steel because it's true. I watched her on when she first arrived on Evolve, and it was never televised. It was mostly on Tubi. You guys can watch it. You know I reviewed Evolve, so that was the whole point. But yeah, he's an idiot. Now, finally, many of you may or may not have heard Afam Copeland, formerly known as Edge, was asked about will he retire in AEW. Yeah, that is a very good question. I mean, he has been around for far too long, and this is what he said. Yes, that's where I want to retire. I don't may disappoint a lot of people, but I love it there. I love the company. I love the attitude. I love the exuberance. I love the drive, and I love the excitement that I see from the locker room. I don't want to go anywhere else. I'm good. I did everything I could do in WWE and then some. And I think they got everything out of me and then some that could say I have. Yeah. And this is, I think many people may understand this. I think he wants to go out on his own terms, and this is something that of course we've seen recently with Sting. Remember, WWE wanted him to retire, but Sting came back. He wrestled a few matches, even at his age in his 60s, but he went out on his own terms. That was the most important, and I think maybe Afam Copeland feels, I want to finish this on my own terms. And WWE has the audacity to say, nope, you're going to retire when we say you retire. That's how they want to do things. I'm not sure if AJ Styles retired on his own terms. That's the thing. I don't know. But we'll see. But we'll see how things go from there. But as of right now, we're done. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, well, as you know, we got Wednesday, so we might focus on WWE Evolve and, of course, AEW Dynamite. But I also want to make a mental note that we are finally finished with the G1. I haven't finished doing all the reviews, but like I said, I'll release them as special episodes at another time. So I'm going to be behind on Stardom and New Japan, and do the same thing with Mighty Gold and Noah when their round robin tournaments come up. So I may do that in a special episode. I don't want to strain myself too much, but it is what it is. So the plan, Evolve, and of course AEW Dynamite. So we'll leave things as it is. But until then, I will say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.